A battle right here between Minnows and Giants. We've got Valenzuela PB Mendiola and Dynamic Herb Cebu FC. The Brave Men squaring off with the Gentle Giants. Match number 47 at the Rizal Memorial Stadium in Manila. A big thank you for joining us on the social media pages of the Philippines Football League. Alongside Jing Hamlang, this is Claro Manzano. We'll be keeping you company today in this game. And both teams, Jing, when you look at it, actually, one has been in form and the other, the complete opposite, in a tailspin.
100%. That's a great way to put it. You have Valenzuela PB Mendiola, who started the season well, actually, and then have just found it difficult to rediscover the form that got them started in a great way. Meanwhile, for Cebu FC, it was a bit of a scuppered start for them, but they've figured out how to play again in a way that makes them one of the title contenders of the season. And, you know, they have an opportunity, a great opportunity to take top spot, at least momentarily, with a victory here tonight.
We'll zoom in on our teams, of course, first and foremost with Valenzuela PB. And one key perhaps would be to sustain that energy for the full 90, because you see, parang nawawala pagkatapos ng halftime yung energy dito nila.
Yeah, napaka-importante talaga that they start strong and are able to maintain a level of enthusiasm and energy against a Cebu side that are extremely hungry as of the moment. It won't be easy. This is a Cebu side that is ramping up to get ready for the ASEAN Club Championships or the Shopee Cup in a few days' time. So they're going to be raring to go and hoping to put in an impressive performance.
When you look at their form, actually, it is actually 6 straight losses already, unfortunately. And in all of these losses, 35 goals conceded. Everyone's got to be concerned with that, without a doubt.
100%. When you concede more than 5 in so many matches, not only is it bad for your record, but it does something to the confidence of your players, right? So they're going to be wanting to remove these things. They want to be goldfish at the moment, right? They want to be able to forget all of these results and just focus on not even the full 90 minutes. Focus on the first 10, then the next 20, and getting into the first half. That's got to be the focus for Valenzuela PB Mendiola. Just get the simple things right.
When you look at their starting lineup, actually, they have a key change right here. Yuan Renya will be suiting up at center back. Now, that is his usual role, but he was not around for them last game. Will this be the moment for them, of course, to get their groove?
Well, you know, time will tell. The thing about Valenzuela PB Mendiola is they do have the ingredients to be dangerous. And if they are able to keep things tight at the back, you never know what they can produce. The likes of Isaac Ano, Johan Fofana, Christian Lampas, if he's able to anchor the midfield correctly, they have the tools to be very dangerous. So you hope they're able to find that synergy required in order to be a threat today.
Interesting also that they do have, I will say, a Manila Montet survivor in Victor Felicia, who is now with his Mendiola squad, of course. A player to look out for, Yuan Renya, as we've mentioned. He is very experienced in the collegiate ranks with San Beda, and I am mentioning this because we get to see he's able to hang with the big boys when he's being utilized right here for the Brave Men.
We're talking about keeping it tight and keeping it solid. Yuan Renya is going to be crucial in making sure that they have that energy all throughout the 90 minutes. And it's important to be able to frustrate Cebu. When we saw Cebu take on Philippine Army, it took them a long time to be able to start piling on the goals. Valenzuela PB Mendiola could take a page out of that book.
Now, let's see, of course, because execution is always different when it comes to just taking in theory. But we have 90 minutes to prove that again. The winner will not be determined after 45 minutes. But with that, of course, we are eventually going to take it to our coach interview for Valenzuela PB Mendiola to see, actually, what do they have in mind heading into this game in a bit.
With respect to the Cebu, they play for the goal difference. So for us as a Brave Men, we stop them, and nothing to lose for us. We try as a Brave Men of Mendiola, we try our best to get that 3 points, of course.
We've mentioned like a broken record, of course. If they go down, they are going to go down swinging. But perhaps it's time already for them to start bringing in those results again. And we're talking about W's. But with us wrapping up Valenzuela PB Mendiola, let's head over to Cebu FC and the Gentle Giants. With Cebu, of course, things were looking bleak. But it seems like they got their act together when they started to control the game and essentially not sit back and absorb pressure.
One thing I love about Dynamic Herb Cebu is their nickname is definitely something that doesn't describe the way they play. There's nothing gentle about their approach, and that's something that I really enjoy watching, is how ruthless they've become as a side. They are quick to take advantage of any space you provide them, and the key to victory, as you've mentioned here, Claro, is don't sit back. I don't think this is going to be an issue today for the side of Coach Glenn Ramos. They've been so good at being direct when needed. They can play through when needed. They have all the tools and ingredients to be such a threat, and I think the results in recent time have shown that Cebu are back to being bona fide title contenders.
Unbeaten in 5 games at the moment. That's how things are shaping up right here for the crew of Coach TGR or Tomasito Glenn Ramos. There is that blip, a 1-1 draw to Manila Digger. It hurts you more, of course, as opposed to helping you. But still some promising form here from the looks of it.
Yeah, they've overcome some really tough hurdles as well in Aguilas and Maharlika. Doon natin nakita na, okay, they're turning the corner and they're getting ready to make that push again for the title, because they looked sensational in those games.
And with that, here is that starting 11 of theirs, and you can clearly see that they are getting ready for their midweek fixture next week again, as they are going to be playing the ASEAN Club Championship right here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium.
It's not ideal for Coach Glenn Ramos. Obviously, there's a big game on Wednesday, but they also have players that are preparing for the SEA Games. There's no Amirul, no Rosquillo for them. There's no Ladell as well. No, so these 3 players are key players for them. Hindi lang sila, quality players that you're gonna miss, but players that they've relied on, that carry a huge weight despite their young age. So, malaking bagay na wala yung mga players na yan. Pero kudos to Cebu, they have such depth still, because when you look at this lineup, they have more than enough to be able to overcome the hurdle tonight.
And that's big with you mentioning those players actually who are eligible to play in the Southeast Asian Games. That's essentially 3/4 of their backline. You could have made it the entire backline if Brian Villanueva weren't here, but seems, of course, he is going to focus on club duties for the Gentle Giants again. And with that, of course, wrapping up our starting lineup for the Gentle Giants, let's take it to our player to look out for. It's got to be Papu Korsame, with the way he has become the heart and soul of this team. If he struggles, the team struggles. And sometimes, in tough situations, or even at times, he's able to punch them out of that difficult hole and bag a result.
He wears the captain's armband for a reason. Papu Korsame, he's the personality in which Cebu want to model themselves on, right? He has that fighting spirit from the first whistle to the last. And he's gritty, he's feisty, and that's the kind of personality that Coach Glenn Ramos wants on the pitch. And he's got loads of quality as well, as we know from Papu Korsame. So definitely going to be a man to watch. If he's playing well, normally Cebu is playing well as well.
Papu actually a key ingredient, let's get to it, kung bakit hindi sila not so gentle giants. But he will do the talking. He's been able to do that over the course of the season, entertaining football. But with that, we are going to take it to our coach interview for Cebu FC.
Work as a team, and we are dealing with the new players who are not playing previous games. We will give them a playing time today, but our main objective is to win this game, and of course to earn another 3 points. Our previous 5 matches are really good performance, and we need consistency for this team, and this is very important for us. Of course, Mendiola also is a good team. We cannot say that Mendiola rank now is here very on the not in the top, but they are good also. But we need to respect them and play hard. I told the boys to play for preparing also for our Shopee Cup this coming Wednesday. And we are very excited for this game, exciting match this afternoon. Thank you.
Seems like the ideal mindset here that Coach TGR is just passing over right here to their players, because you can never relax even if you are playing a team on paper who is right at the bottom.
It's a long season, Claro, so it's a chance to impress for the players who have been outside of the rotation. And you still have what? It's a 25-game season, technically, right? Especially for the player or for the teams that are going to be moving on to the championship round. So there's a lot of games to go around, and in a match like this, when you do get your minutes, you have to make your statement, your message to coach that I deserve more minutes. And with the key three that are out right now, Gadia is not going to be playing as well alongside Rusquillo, Ledel, and Amirul. Fantastic opportunity to impress and really make a statement today against Valenzuela PB Mendiola.
The chance is there, and it's now up to some of these gentlemen, of course, to grab that opportunity by the horns. When you refer to the Gentle Giants, Valenzuela PB Mendiola again have been struggling. They did score against Aguilas in their previous game, a 7-1 loss, but that goal perhaps a flicker of hope. But at the end of the day, these players, of course, will take it to the pitch now, and it's all up to them right here in your Philippines Football League 2025-2026 season. Let's get to it here at the Rizal Memorial Stadium, and first and foremost, our respective team captains, Christian Lapas and Papu Corsame. On to our referees, ang referee natin si John Mike Basinang, ang kanyang assistants ay sila Ryan Flores at Ronelo Gatigan. Ang fourth official ay si Aldous Menafuentes, ang referee assessor ay si Gerardo Andres, ang match commissioner natin ay si Miss Karin and Kaliway. Valenzuela PB will be in maroon today, and the Cebu FC Gentle Giants in all white. And here's that starting lineup, same goalkeeper actually, and a great number of guys.
Zambrano is actually going to be hoping to have a good game today against his former side. Certainly won't want to be conceding a lot facing his former team. Jason Soberano will be relying on some similar tools that he's had in the past, but he's going to want them to assert themselves in a different way today. Again, he said there's nothing to lose for them, so they should go out there and really give it everything they have so they can close out this year on a high.
And over with the Gentle Giants, of course, one of the players getting that prime opportunity to step up, there's Jacob Liao.
Yes, big opportunity for him. Used to be one of the first names on the team sheet in previous seasons. He's found himself on the outside looking in after recovering from injury, this is a game for him to really make a statement and showcase why he was such a regular in the past.
Esrom Paulos is also getting the nod. Oftentimes he would be that spark plug, but is one of those main men in the offense for Coach TGR pictured. And we have our game changers, of course. JB Borlongan, someone you expect to be starting along with Lea Makiling. It just speaks volumes here on that lineup of theirs. But maybe Victor Fayol will also bag another goal right here for Coach Jayshawn.
For JB Borlongan, I'd expect he's going to get at least 45 minutes today, possibly in the second half, but that could be also because one eye is on the Selangor match in a few days' time. He might be somebody that's considered a key player for that game, so he's not going to get the full nod for 90 today, but JB Borlongan, we know what kind of a talent he is.
You got to see, of course, some of the young, passionate fans of Cebu, as this game was kicked off by Frank Isaac Ano. Kaj Amirul and Jaime Rosquillo are actually catching the game in the stands to cheer on their teammates. And once again, Valenzuela PB in maroon. Cebu in all white.
It's important for Cebu to be able to score early in this game. One of the things that kind of held them back in that match against Philippine Army is medyo natagalan sila to get into their flow. And that added to a level of nervousness, a little bit of hesitancy. If they can get it on the score sheet early, that will allow them to puff their chests out and really express themselves.
The thing with Cebu is that when they faced Maharlika, which is one of their previous games, they scored in the 3rd minute, courtesy of Noah Liddell. So that's something they're trying to go for. Behind Paulos, try to connect on the right wing with Rico Andes. In traffic here now, Valenzuela PB putting the clamps. Renya sending it a bit long. Abusi gets to collect. But in that game, or that win of Cebu versus Army, 5 goals, 5 different goal scorers, 5 different players also connected with them or set up these goals.
And there you see that there's quality all over the pitch for the Gentle Giants. They're starting to connect with one another much better as this season continues to unfold.
Over to Korsami now, getting it to Fati. Sending it to the middle. There you go. I'm sure that's what Coach TGR ordered. No points for guessing if Rico Andes is going to score for Cebu.
But absolutely exquisite was the build-up. Incisive, decisive, in just pure quality in front of goal. Rico Andes, he's such a killer when he's in this type of area, but it's put on a plate. And then the desire from the young man to attack that header. A beauty of a goal from the Gentle Giants.
Rico Andes, of course, that's essentially his 8th goal of the season. And when things were looking tough for them early on, people were noting, puro Rico Andes lang gumagawa o may score. And now that the different pieces here are chugging for them and are scoring, that's going to make them a very dangerous threat.
Give Rico Andes a bit of room and he will punish you. And as you mentioned, with so many other weapons firing as well, Rico Andes is bound to have that little bit more space, or at least he's gonna attract a lot of attention and allow others to score. But you see why there's so much attention being placed on him, because you give him an inch and he will take it.
Also, sorry.
Such a big fan of this player because of the level of, he's such a predator in front of goal. And, it's almost a lost art being just a pure striker. And Rico Andes is certainly that.
And this is not his first stint with Cebu. There was a time where he was under the late coach Mehmet Kakil. He was being played as a fullback, and Rico got his spurt with Loyola last season. Hence the Gentle Giants signed him up to play his natural position. Just like that. 8 goals to his name, and he is by far their leading scorer.
Iba rin na nasa natural ka na position mo, at iba rin pag ang taas na ng confidence mo na alam mong inaasahan ka ng coach mo. So really we're seeing that transformation for Rico Andes, and it's such a joy to watch we have here a really promising striker, and of course homegrown. No, it's actually quite rare to see that. Normally teams will place, their foreign recruits in the position where they can bag the most goals, but Rico Andes is being asked to carry that load, and he is repaying the faith in a big way.
Paulos cutting inside. Andes on that long list of dangerous, prolific FEU Tamaraos. It's with him now. They tried to go for Pinto earlier with that run, but it is cleared off and sent to the side. So there's the anchors again for Mendiola, Nyon Renya and Gustavo. Call him Gustavo because he is Brazilian. He jokingly says, call him the Brazilian daddy.
I love the name, but a little bit worried about the defending that he showcased there against Rico Andes. He needs to be more alert and alive inside the box. He's got to be on his toes there and not flat-footed. Because Rico Andes, as we mentioned, he's the type to pounce on any weakness.
What was difficult for Mendiola in the last game versus Aguilas was the same. They were essentially out of sync from top to bottom, attack to defense. So there's only so much that Jack Zambrano could do for them.
This is, unfortunately for them, a familiar story. And the players really need to be able to shake that off as quickly as possible and reassert themselves in this game.
Villanueva will knock it back to Rami Jaridi. Cebu playing that patient game. They could slow it down and manage the game just a bit, and that could essentially get them more attacking chances. Well, couldn't work out here for Camis. Abusi not playing in an attacking position, but as we know, he could play anywhere in attack and in midfield. I'll correct myself, even defense.
Abusi is certainly a versatile player, but it has been something new to see him in this withdrawn role. You can see that he's thriving in it. Actually showcased a maturity to his game that perhaps was rather unexpected.
Tried to send it to the right wing over to Liao, champion of course. It is days with Ateneo. Camis will send it to Jacob Liao. Paulos. Big shoes to fill here when it comes to the afro, because he did take that spot of Goktu Demirolo when it comes to best hairstyle in the team.
What gets me is Paulos is a very young man actually, but the beard and the afro adds to the perception that he is a seasoned veteran. And of course, the skill level adds to that as well. He has been such a threat on this right side for Cebu. An opportunity here.
Rico, it got blocked. The defense just escaping by the skin of their teeth. Camis moved forward in hopes of keeping it there, but his counters launched by Reggie Sulit. Villanueva up against Ano. Somehow Brian Villanueva was able to win it for them, but he was a few steps back.
It still boggles my mind that he's 19 years of age. He's just bodied Isaac Ano there, slid in, taken that ball into his possession. He's such a cool customer.
We're mentioning again Brian Villanueva. He is not going to shy away from any challenge, especially when he's playing up against foreigners who are bigger, faster, and stronger.
Actually quite surprised that he's not in the mix in the SEA Games, but he does have time on his side.
Well, we say that because Villanueva is normally a regular of that squad. But we'll never know because, or we'll eventually know because wala pang final lineup. Things can be sorted out, but we are basing this off the fact that walang Amirul, walang Rosquillo,
yes.
No Liddell. Fati getting it forward. Stopped by Fofana, playing in that center back role as much as he is a midfielder.
Speaking of players that are trying to make a statement, Fati right now in these opening 9 minutes, sensational. Of course, was suspended after being sent off in one of the matches. He's got an opportunity to impress, and he's doing very well so far.
As is the case with Ramos. Well, Fati also, after all, a Tajikistan U23 national team player, as this is carried by Paulos.
Great opportunity, great delivery, actually, from the left flank.
Just 10 minutes in, there's a goal to show already right here for the Gentle Giants, thanks to Rico Andes. It was the Fati assist that set that up for him. It's still strange, I will say, to see Jack Zambrano play against Cebu. A fun fact, actually, he came close to playing for the team early in the season, especially in the Shopee Cup qualifying playoff.
Zambrano, I'm sure, would want to be representing the club from which he's come from.
Fati got stopped, yes.
At the same time, you look at his opposite number right now, and Rami Jaridi is a sensational pickup for Cebu. You could see his quality oozes from in between the sticks. A real, you could say, a game changer from that position.
What do you call those stripes that you put right under your eyes, right? Sa dating pa lang ni Rami Jaridi, alam mo magaling na eh. You know what I'm talking about, right?
It's all about, you know, his capability to perform, right? He doesn't do it for style points. He does it because he wants to be 100% out there for Cebu. And so far, sa nakikita natin, isa siya sa mga pinaka-angat na mga goalkeeper of all the 11 teams in this league.
The man, of course, with caps for Tunisia on the international level. And as Diego Cordero was saying, also with experience at the Club World Cup level. They're stringing passes now. Liao returned it to Paulos. Almost got his pocket picked. Rico Andes and company waiting inside. They tried to square it in, but there's the stop for Valenzuela PB, and it's a corner.
It's good work on that right flank. A lot of the danger has been coming from the opposite side. But Liao now coming alive in support.
Well, Liao would actually play that center back role, but considering how they've really beefed up, he's shifted over to the side. There's something or a position he's capable of filling in also.
Yeah, he's versatile in that back line.
Abusi sent to the middle. Still inside the box. But just like that, a banger catching us all by surprise. And it's Anderson Pinto.
Jack Zambrano left rooted on that one because it came out of nowhere. It's bouncing around dangerously here. And then hello, Anderson Pinto absolutely smashes it.
Hit low, hit hard.
Just was presented to him, and he doesn't need to be asked twice. Anderson Pinto absolutely destroying that one. And this is the dream scenario para sa Cebu FC. 2 goals in the span of 12 minutes. They are up and running. They've got a great platform to build off of.
They want to get into that cruise control mode so they could properly lift off the gas, stay there, so they don't risk any injuries, any wear and tear in time for Wednesday again. That's when they will be playing again in the Asian Club Championship or the Shopee Cup right here.
Coach Glenn Ramos was made to sweat a bit against Philippine Army because not only were they not able to score the number of goals they were hoping for, Philippine Army was actually proving a threat in that game. So ngayon, 2 goals, may cushion na sila, and again, you're not going to need to be risking your players unnecessarily in this match. And again, may chance siya ngayon na kung gusto niya mag-rotate sa gitna ng game to remove a player that he feels is going to be crucial for Wednesday, he's going to be able to do that.
Mendiola now stringing passes together on the left after Aningalan got them that stop. Trying to play this one to the left. Liao back to Jaridi. He'll try to play that numbers game at the back to be able to build up and escape.
Navigated well there by Liao. Under pressure, it's almost like a test that he was placed into there by Jaridi, as Villanueva on the opposite side was with a lot of room.
Rico to Fati, no good here. Flag was raised, that is not going to count.
Oh, that's a tight one. I was looking at it the entire way. Rico had delayed his run just momentarily. Honestly, I'm not quite sure if that was the right call.
But nonetheless, the Gentle Giants lead 2-0 for the meantime. Rico Andes opened the scoring in the 2nd minute. Anderson Pinto doubled things in about the 12th.
And you saw there, Rico Andes turning provider. Of course, that goal was ruled out, but the pair have been working well together. Fati and Rico Andes, what a threat up front.
And then you had Papu, of course, who is that fullback. Over to Pinto. Can they keep it in? Not the case. He's hoping, of course, and pushing his luck. I would like to think that he's trying to make it go their way.
It's a clever move, actually. Just couldn't control it there. Anderson Pinto is going to be a little bit disappointed, honestly. And this is something really disappointing from Gustavo da Silva. He's got his hands up, but his feet were so far off the ground when he released that ball. It's almost criminal to be giving up that type of infraction at this level.
You expect a little more also from Gustavo, given his experience in the Thai League. This is his 2nd stint with the club also. He played a bit in that 2nd half. Sandes was floored. Things getting a bit heated here. The clearance also did go to a player.
Discussion being had. John Mike Basinang taking charge of the situation. He looked like he stepped over but did not make much contact for Fana.
The referee's decision sticks here. But these brave men will have to be careful. They carry that on, they could get booked.
This is what I like about John Mike Basinang. He's not afraid to have a conversation. He's explaining his perspective here, making it clear to everybody what he saw, what his decision is. You can see the players accepting it and calming down. And that's what he's doing here. Just taking the temperature of this game down a little bit. Claro, may konting tulak kay Rico Andes. Caused him to lose his balance. It was this moment that kind of, yan. Diba?
That's a bit extra. Not a bit.
Yeah.
Extra talaga.
It wasn't strong, pero bakit mo ko tatamaan, diba?
We didn't need our quad vision replay for that. Kitang-kita as Esrom Paulos gives us another one. Just wide though.
Not an easy header on that one from Jacob Liao. He's got to twist his body. He's leaning backwards a little bit because it is just a little bit behind him. To try to get that on target, very hard, but he got pretty close.
It's a game of inches, as we always hear. If you make, or if Jacob Liao makes some of those adjustments, perhaps he'll be on target to challenge his former teammate, Jackson Prano. Played quickly now by Lapas, the captain today. No Balot Doctora. They are going to miss his scoring services, of course. Balot, after all, leads the team with 3. But Ano will try to step up now. Blowing by. Jaridi denies that.
It's a great move from Isaac Ano. He's made contact with the goalkeeper, it seems. Jaridi in some pain.
This is not the first time that Jaridi has taken a hit like that and has gotten shaken up. In that close loss to Wantagig, Jaridi kept the team afloat. That had to be taken off in the end. Coach Jay Sean with his work cut out here as there is a Gentle Giant down.
Only way is up for the brave men. There's certainly a lot to work on, but certainly, there's a lot of room for them to move into in terms of their improvement. It's really just about taking it one step at a time for Valenzuela PB Mendiola. But at the same time, they need to be looking at teams like Manila Digger, at Maharlika. You know, these are teams that are making strides quickly. And they need to be taken into account what is making these teams so much more competitive, much more quickly.
And in this losing skid of Valenzuela PB Mendiola, most of these opponents are actually championship round contenders, meaning teams who want to make it to the top 6 and to advance. 35 goals conceded, and they got to score only 2 goals. That's tough.
On paper, they're expected perhaps not to get these points, but it's the manner in which they're conceding these defeats. Rico Andes there again, getting his head to it in between 2 players. Mendiola have to do better to deny him that opportunity.
Yes, it was Zambrano who had to essentially secure that in the end.
But again, it's the manner in which they're conceding these goals and conceding defeats that will be the most worrying part for Valenzuela PB Mendiola.
And with what I'm going to say, of course, you play to win, but it's a lot different if you lose 3-0 as compared to 7-1, 9-0, 7-0, 8-0, 5-0. Just some of the score lines right here. The only close loss was a 2-1 defeat to Garelli.
Yep. And that has to be a very clear depiction, you know, of how they're playing and the room that they need to improve. Certainly, they can't keep going down this same path and think that the results are going to change. They're going to need to make a turn somewhere to freshen things up.
Similar story to last year, come to think of it, because Mendiola were already at the bottom of the table. With this new season, which is not so new anymore, we will say, you expected better things, a retooled squad, of course, with different talents coming in here and there, but still the same on paper, unfortunately, when it comes to results.
It's really down to their synergy. You know, you bring in these new recruits, you're trying to create a new core for your team. They really haven't found that connection as of yet, that chemistry that will carry them forward and say, this is the base from which we'll build. Right now, it's all up in the air, and that's the biggest challenge for Coach Jay Sean, is to be able to found the foundation from which he wants to build. Because right now, it's looking like shaky ground.
And Coach Jay Sean has been there, of course. He's been able to experience these tough things as a player, so maybe he could bring those on as a coach and implement the different things that he would like to see here and there. Villanueva's here. He is from the Taloy program. Also, they get to play for FEU in the high school ranks.
He's gone a bit more of an unconventional route. Stand out in that high school program of FEU, won the title, then went straight and made the jump to play in the PFL. It's not for everybody, but I think for a player like Brian Villanueva, he's made the right choice in that he's testing himself against men already as a teenager. And I think that'll hold him in good stead moving forward, because when you see him at 23 years of age, there are players that are still playing at the collegiate level at that particular age, and Brian Villanueva will have 4 years in the top flight. That's going to be incredible for him. I think Mendiola got away with one there. Looked like a push on Fatih.
Fofana getting the stop there versus the Tajikistani. And the thing here with Villanueva, mukhang mama na siya dito on the pitch. It's not like, uy, may totoy sila dito, naglalaro. Chance inside.
Oh,
Not from point blank, but really close. Paulos couldn't frame it.
20-year-old was in a great position to score there. He's kind of scuffed the effort a little bit though. But just going back to Villanueva, yes, he doesn't look like a child in there, but you can tell that he's not fully filled out as well. As a 19-year-old, he's still going to build muscle. He's still going to, fill out as a player. So he's going to be even more formidable moving forward.
It was poked away from the feet of Rico. Shot again from Paulos. Somehow went to Andes. Corsame just flying in. It's a foot race now. And Papo did get to take that away from Mgongos. But as you see, Johnny was Mgongos able to repay the favor. But as we close that chapter where we are talking about Brian Villanueva, he squared off with some towering players. Salifu Big Boy Jada, just 6'4". Jacob Njoku of Kasuka FC of Brunei did get into his head in that game, and Njoku just hit him away from football out of frustration.
Oof, tough call. Masinang in the right spot to be able to assess that altercation, that coming together. But you did say, you know, Villanueva has been tested in a big way, and I'm sure he's grown tremendously from those duels. When you look at his personality profile, it really fits in with this feistiness, this grittiness of the Cebu side. You've got Papo Corsame, Jacob Liao, Daniel Gadia. These are the players that they don't take any nonsense from anybody, you know, and Brian Villanueva embodies that kind of character even as such a young man.
So of course, not to play here, you have to be at a certain level of talent, the Philippines Football League. For Cebu, there's an extra box in the checklist of players they look out for. Yung mga angas, yung mga swaggy. We'll get it out there. But here is free kick for Mendiola. A chance to get something on the board now. Taken low. Rami Juri just read that easily. Very routine here.
I think that's the kind of profile that Coach Glenn Ramos wants to build off of, you know, because you can be extremely technical, you can be extremely talented, but if you don't have that fight in you, sometimes your technique and your quality as a player diminishes when the going gets tough, when the games get fiery. And that's what Cebu is looking to do to their opposition, you know, to take them out of their comfort zone, right? And Cebu thrive in that kind of atmosphere.
The tide here somewhat changed for the Gentle Giants in that 1-0 victory of theirs over Stallion Laguna. As they'll knock it back to Zambrano. Didn't send it high, sent it on the ground. And we say that, of course, with Cebu turning the tide against Stallion in that game because they were sitting back, goalless the entire time. You and I called that game, Jing, and then Rico and Des just worked this magic, got them a goal out of nowhere. They showed that fight in them.
Yep.
Not that you want to be or have your back against the wall every time, but sometimes you got to pull off a result, even on your toughest days.
They've got that in them, and they know they have that in them. That's the thing. It adds to the level of confidence that kahit anong mangyari, basta hindi pa pumipito yung referee, may chance pa rin tayo. And that's going to be a big deal for this Cebu side because we do expect this season to be very tight. It's very competitive, especially at the top. And we're going to expect that Cebu is going to be amongst those fighting for the title.
Clearly favorites, of course, to make it to that magic 6. So after all, yes, they are playing on the regional stage again, at the ASEAN level. But Cebu did get to spend the last 2 seasons also playing on the continental stage, the AFC Champions League 2, and even the AFC Cup right before that tournament was rebranded.
And the thing is, they started a bit slowly in this first round. There were a few question marks as to whether or not, chance here.
Lovely here from them as they connect. Perhaps that shot of Antes was lacking in venom. Well, you could see they just executed that play to perfection. Mendiola looking to counter, just sent long, and Villanueva read that.
You know, I think Claro Rico was trying to square that to a teammate. And I do like the version of Rico Andes that is a little bit more greedy, a little bit more selfish in front of goal.
As Fatty will chase it down. So minsan okay maging swapang, diba? As we know.
Mag-striker ka, yes.
Let the games begin here. Fofana and Kudoy Dodsoda both getting a yellow. Let's go back also to that time Fofana pushed Fatty over and to the side. You were saying?
John Mike Bisinang here saying, this is not a discussion, guys, all right? Enough of this nonsense. I'm not going to allow too much extracurriculars when the ball is not in contention. And those two players squaring off like that, he's trying to nip that in the bud.
Trying to get into the head, of course, of the winger. But it is going to be a throw-in for Korsame. Kodoidodzora, the second Tajikistani again to play right here in the PFL. The other being Amir Churaboev, who did play for Tajikistan against the Philippines earlier this year over at the New Clark City Athletic Stadium.
We've got some good teams out there in the Tajikistani league. You can see those two players, they've been standouts.
A shot from distance, no good for Ramos. Glenn Thomas Ramos, oftentimes a spark plug. He'll come off the bench along with the likes of JB Borlongan. He'll change the game, but now he's getting a start. A lot different, as we know, as compared to just playing for 20 minutes and you just hit the throttle.
He's been involved in some good actions already. Had a good cross in earlier. Now he's taking a snapshot from distance. Not too far away on that one.
Some people may be wondering, who is si Coach TGR ba yun naglalaro? That is actually his son who is playing. Just to add to some of your father-son coach-player tandems, you have the McDaniels, the Nierases, you have the Ramoses.
And you'd think that you get a little bit of leeway, a little bit of preferential treatment if you are the coach's son, but I think you do get preferential treatment in the opposite direction. Like, you're gonna get things are gonna be a little bit harder for you, because you do have to prove not only to your father but also to your teammates that you earn your right to play.
Oh, this ball was intercepted by Gustavo. We are going back there to that foul. Ramos was hit over close to the half line. And they make you work harder for it, just going back.
Yeah.
Here's that play. Over now, their live pictures into the center. Kodoidodzora forces another save as he was going for the near post.
It's a good stop from Zambrano. You need to make sure that you've got your near post covered, and he's done just that.
You could see, of course, Paulus was trying to cause havoc. After all, he is number 3 in the league in assists. He has 6. Right above him, there's former Philippines international Mark Hartman with 9. Above him, Juan Galeana Trujillo of Stallion with 10. They will be playing later on.
Oof. Excited for that. Great games here in the Philippines Football League. It's almost a bit of a disappointment that it's all coming to a close here in 2025 already.
Last match week of the year already. Hurts to say that. So, of course, while you're at it, do come over at the Rizal Memorial Stadium and join us. We also have our games tomorrow, right here at the same venue. It will be 2 games. Picking it now, or Jaridi just tried to cover that area in case.
Not a bad attempt from Anticona. Or was that Renya who went for it? It was a good effort from distance. I think it was Anticona.
That's right. Traffic from right to left again. That is for the Gentle Giants in all white. Valenzuela PB in all maroon. A big thank you for joining us also right here on the PFL's Facebook and YouTube pages. Lara Manzano here alongside Jing Hamlang. Papu just sent that over to his defender, or to the opposing defender. No call here. But they had time to pause, of course, and react for a bit. Well, Anticona actually with citizenship with France and Peru. Abusi, forward ball. The whistle there as Andes was trying to collect the scraps. This is just going to carry over later on to the second half with that tension, the physicality.
John Mike Basino telling him to stand up, and no extra action needed. It's definitely a foul, but it wasn't malicious.
While you're at it, don't you forget, we have the FIFA Futsal Women's World Cup that is ongoing already. Head to fifa.com/tickets. The quarterfinal round will actually start tomorrow already. Those games are being played at the Phil Sports Arena in Pasig. I've got a number of games already. I'll be there tomorrow.
You enjoyed it, Claro?
Absolutely.
The atmosphere?
Absolutely. Everything they've been preaching, there's a back and forth action also with the game atmosphere when there's a home game for the Philippines. Unfortunately, the Filipino 5 eliminated already. But the tournament still goes on, as we know. But back to the action. Kudoy Dodzora waiting for numbers, trying to go for Rico. Almost connected. That would have been another highlight.
What a ball from Fatih.
Paulos put it in. Ramos off of Fatih and in. Another team goal here for the Gentle Giants, just carrying on that fine form from last game.
Another great goal from Cebu, and credit goes to Ramos. Fantastic close control in order to make that opportunity. It bounces up, touches it here. That's a great touch, and puts it on a plate for Fatih to finish. Sensational from Cebu, and they just keep on rolling.
It was spectacular for them. He even had to credit the pass to assist, especially in this situation. Not to take anything away from Fatih, all he had to do was be there. He saw that trajectory of the ball, didn't have to swing his boot, just had to direct it in.
But he's been getting in dangerous spaces with regularity. What a ball!
Paulos couldn't hit it. Rico, the follow-up. Zambrano saw it was already bouncing out.
He's in full flow at the moment, Fatih. The passes that he's been hitting outside of the boot, inside of the boot, he's been curling it into dangerous spots. He scored a goal on his own right now. He is the man to watch at the moment.
Fatih again did play that crucial role for Cebu in making it to the group stage of the Shopee Cup. That's where he actually played his first games for the club. Oftentimes, you'll get your maiden appearance over in the local league right here, but a number of Gentle Giants did play already right away in the qualifying playoff that time around. And Pinto, options left and right, goes to their main man, Antes gets beaten. Fofana just got it out. Not enough there, as he had to poke it away out of the feet of Paulos.
That's good defending to deny Rico Andes. He was just about to pull the trigger.
With that frantic effort of Mendiola to get it to the midfield, they will look to settle now and build up from the back, something we haven't really seen. Mgongos to the middle, Felicia. He did spend his years, of course, or formative years in Singapore, but he is Filipino. This might be the case, actually, for the Felicia brothers. Victor's brother, Charles, was once our statsman in the PFL. The Singapore men's head coach, Gavin Lee, did get to train Charles. Maybe the case also with Victor.
Coach Gavin Lee has steered Singapore to the Asian Cup as a caretaker. He's now the full-time coach of that. Of course, has spent some time here in the Philippines as the opposition coach in Tampines Rovers when they took on Kaya. It's great to see a young local coach thriving inside his league and making his way through to the national team.
Of course, we're also keeping tabs on our neighbors.
Kailangan, klaro, para alam natin kung ano yung mga ingredients for success, di ba?
And especially, remember, Philippine football just getting that push 15 years ago. Yes, it's been a long time, but the other countries have been at it already. since the beginning of time, do we say?
So we're seeing also what they're doing incorrectly, what they're doing well, what we need to avoid, right? And tangentially, syempre nakakalaban natin yung mga clubs nila in the Shopee Cup, in the AFC competition. So, you know, it pays to be mindful of what's going on in and around our region.
Well, Kai FC did play against Tampines and did fall, unfortunately. But with Cebu, we keep mentioning again, the Gentle Giants are playing on Wednesday here for the Shopee Cup. They are going to play against Selangor, a Malaysian team.
Of course, they're doing well in the Shopee Cup. Selangor is a big club in Malaysia. You would say they are in that, you know, that realm of giants of clubs over there.
And essentially with Cebu, Kaya, Digger, these are the teams who play internationally. They are forced to raise their game against these opponents. They take it here to the PFL and everyone gets to benefit.
That's the idea, right? You raise your game to be competitive regionally, continentally. Therefore, you keep that level when you play domestically, and everybody has to rise to meet that level. And right now, Mendiola finding it difficult to come to grips with that level.
It's all about exposure, as we know, if you want to get better. But with the way Mendiola have had to square off against these higher ranked teams and have struggled, perhaps you expect them to make these adjustments and changes here and there, not just in this game, but in the big picture. Saw that develop right there, Ching.
First of all, easy yellow card, but Paulos almost shot his team in the foot there, trying to play quickly, but there was a player from Valenzuela PB Mendiola who was ready to pounce on that ball.
That was Frank Isaac Ano, a man from Ivory Coast, but he did go and play straight with De La Salle University in the university ranks.
Medyo swerte si Paulos in the end. John Mike Basinang was trying to cater to the particular situation of the booking and did not allow the play to continue.
It was Gustavo who was given the yellow card there in an altercation we were shown.
Stopping that counter-attack, easy yellow. He's got to be careful now.
Pinto will take a hit. 4 minutes remaining though until additional time. But the tension continues to rise.
And they have to be careful, right? Gustavo is already in the book. And Gongos, he's walking that tightrope right now. And every time he has something to say, for every call of John Mike Basinang, the more he is likely to end up in that book.
And of course, these players are showing how much they love our match ball, brought to you by Sports Tribe, of course, the official match ball of the PFL. We see Stallion Lagoon already making their way and preparing for next game. There's a certain Mr. Incredible, A. Placido, who is here. I wonder, of course, if he is listed on the roster. But let's keep track, of course, and see as Ramos will give in his in-swinger.
Oh,
Get it in, 4-0 just like that. Jacob Liao finds the back of the net.
welcome back, Jacob Liao, heading that one to make it 4 for Cebu. Enjoy that on the quad vision replay, every angle you need.
His first right here in this tournament. And when you're returning from injury, all of these goals just mean the world to you.
It's another assist as well for Glenn Ramos. He's put that in a very dangerous area. Enticed Zambrano to come out, and Liao got there ahead of time. Just needed to glance that one into the back of the net. And this perfect first half just keeps getting better for Dynamic Herb Cebu.
Guns blazing now for Cebu. Coming up with that press, winning it now immediately. And keeping Valenzuela PB Mendiola uncomfortable in the back often when you have all the time in the world to handle the ball. Fati knocked it to Papu. Corsame taking on Mgongos. He wanted to shoot that rocket, but it was blocked by Felicia. Fati, heel cross given the space. It was taken low, but just went into the feet of Gustavo. Over to Lapas. Hit it to the left now. Ang aningalan on the left wing for them. But it's lost just like that for Valenzuela PB. Their build-up just stopping in the defensive end of that midfield. Corsame will get it to Ramos. And also give us a follow on TikTok _WeArePFL_ as we have 2 minutes of additional time as confirmed by Aldos Mirafuentes, our fourth official. Pinto. The Gentle Giants smell blood. They want one more here, especially with the way they are handling things.
And why not? It's been one-way traffic. They can make it 5. It will add a measure to their goal difference. And that's what they're trying to do here. Trying to make up for what they weren't able to do against Philippine Army.
It's 2-on-3 though here on the left. Should teams be tied again with or on points, the next criteria will be goal difference. Goals scored minus goals conceded. About a minute remaining right here in the first half between Valenzuela PB Mendiola and the Gentle Giants Cebu FC. And our goal scorers, there's Rico Andes, Anderson Pinto, Fati Kudoy Dudzoda, and Jacob Liao. Similar script from that win over Army. You have the same number of goal scorers as the number of goals scored. And they're now deviating from that, let's just give it to Rico Andes offense.
It's been a variety as well for them. Scored off of a set piece. Got a couple inside the box. One was coming off a defensive error for Pinto Anderson, or Anderson Pinto rather, and they're just showcasing that you give us anything at all, any opening, and we will take advantage of it.
They are going to take that one by the horns without a doubt. 2 minutes already right here, done and dusted, and just like that, we have the halftime whistle at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. 4-0 just like that. One-way traffic. Gustavo and Fati just exchanging some words. Light moment there. But we'll be back after this break again, and we'll see you in a bit. back at the Rizal Memorial Stadium in Manila, and it is a commanding lead right here for Cebu FC. 4 goals, four different goal scorers as you see. Liao, Fatih Kudoy Dodzora, Anderson Pinto, and Rico Andes are leading the way for the meantime. But Jing, you were saying, Glenn Ramos, 2 assists right now, just 45 minutes.
Spectacular. You know, you need a provider. With all these goal scorers available to you, and Fatih got the party started for Rico Andes, but you will see here it's a trend for Cebu. They're so good at finding their teammates in dangerous areas, and they're so good at making sure they take full advantage of these opportunities, like that one there from Anderson Pinto. Half cleared, nobody goes down to close him, and just like that he sent that one as a rocket into the back of the net. Tuloy-tuloy lang ang scoring party nila dito. Again, that's a great touch. Fantastic from Glenn Ramos. First touch was a bit loose, but the second one, look at this. Boop, take that away, and go ahead, Fatih, get a goal.
No angle, no problem. Ramos, of course, connecting.
And there's another one. Great ball into that 6-yard box. Alanganin para sa goalkeeper. Kung anong gagawin niya. And Liao, welcome back, sir, into the fray and into the goal scorers list.
And with our statistics here, the higher, or the only number that seems to be higher for Valenzuela PB as compared to Cebu is fouls. But Gentle Giants just letting the statistics do the talking here. They've been bombarding Zambrano, and as a result, 14 of those shots, 10 are on target.
That is crazy. Efficiency for you, 10 of them on target, 4 of them in the back of the net. They are ruthless. We use that word and attach it to Cebu for a reason, and they've hit the gas early on here, and they've been flooring it all throughout. It's been very impressive from the side of Coach Tomasito Glenn Ramos.
The Gentle Giants gunning to send their unbeaten run to 6 games now. And they've been guns blazing, of course, thanks to their form, because there was a point in time they weren't even in the top 6. A number of people were disappointed. But Valenzuela PB have some work to do also. 2 yellow cards for them already, and we have just wrapped up 45 minutes. They'll have to manage that a bit also. We are expecting subs for Coach TGR given the activity that we are seeing in their technical area. A look, of course, at the community out to catch the action here. But do join us again at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. If you are unable to do so, you could catch the live stream on the Philippines Football League's Facebook and YouTube pages. Also give us a follow on TikTok _WeArePFL_.
So many ways to be able to watch the games and connect with the community, and it's great to see how much enthusiasm there's been in the first round of this competition, and we've still got so much football to enjoy moving forward. Ito na nga yung sinasabi mo, no? Some changes coming on the side here of Dynamic Herbs Cebu.
You see Leo Makiling and Incabo are about to enter. As is the case with Bolchol Tong, who dons the number 33 jersey. 3 subs already. They've utilized majority of what they have available. With just 2 more remaining for Coach TGR. But with these subs again, they are looking to manage that load of theirs. 45 more minutes here.
Looking at those that have been relieved of duty, it looks like Rico Andes will not be able to add to his tally tonight. He's already found the back of the net once. That's all he's going to get.
Leo Makiling kicked off our second 45 right here. The Cebu Gentle Giants are in white. They are playing from left to right. Valenzuela PB Mendiola trail 4-0 and are in maroon. A big thank you for joining us again right here on our social media pages. Let's see now what response will Valenzuela PB look to mount. Sent over to the side there.
Judging from the substitutions, you'd expect that Rico Andes, Anderson Pinto, and Papo Corsami are going to be heavily involved in that match against Selangor on Wednesday.
You could expect them to bring out the biggest of the big guns for Cebu FC. That's just the case with any international game for Manila Digger and Kaya FC Iloilo. They're getting Zambrano involved now. They're looking to stretch that defense. Makiling on him. Cebuano versus Cebuano there. Gustavo, who appeared to get hit by Fati. Here he comes now. They send it to the side, courtesy of Tong. The captain, Lapas, will slow it down. But the whistle is blown here again as Gustavo is down. He appeared to get hit on the upper leg while dueling with Kudoy Dodzada. Oh no, it might be the knee.
He's going to need treatment, that's for sure. Fati didn't do anything wrong. He just went for the ball.
It's not good. Gustavo's giving the signal to sub him off.
I think he's saying that he felt a bit of a jarring in his knee. So here comes. They're going to need the stretcher to come on. Yeah, not good signal from him. Parang may naramdaman siyang pagkahiwalay ng tuhod ata. Let's have a look at it here. Fati challenges, gets the ball, and then he lands kind of awkwardly, and he goes down under no contact.
I think his knee buckled also there, I hate to say.
So yun na nga, no? So parang medyo weird position for his knee, and then it kind of had that feeling of separation, so that's not good for Gustavo da Silva, which means they will be forced into a substitution here.
That's not how you imagine your second half, because you make your adjustments already. 2 minutes in, one of your defenders has to get stretchered off, and then you have to burn a substitution, which is definitely necessary given the circumstances. Leo Makiling and Jack Zambrano having a light moment. I wonder why Zambrano did take his glove off.
He looks like he's coming off actually for Jackson Riley Etheridge, but he's limping a little bit, so it looks like he's got something in his abductor that is bothering him. That's got to be disappointing for Zambrano.
There you go, changes being made for Coach Jason Soberano.
It's like a hip flexor issue there for Jack Zambrano. He's limping his way. It's going to be a long journey for him to get to the bench, actually.
Perhaps something happened there when Zambrano had to clear that ball while Leo Makiling was trying to go for it also.
And speaking of big minutes to impress, Leo Makiling, when brought into the match, has impressed. And the opportunities you've been given by Coach Glenn Ramos, and here's an opportunity to show, you know, how he contrasts with Rico Andes, who had a great first half, well, at least a great start to the first half, and then kind of fizzled out a little bit as that period went on. And Leo Makiling has looked lively in his appearances for Cebu. You hope that he's going to have another crack at it here to showcase what he's all about.
Makiling can play anywhere in the attack and in a midfield. No good there for Tong. Lost it for a bit. They have to clear it.
I think you're right. Makiling does have that versatility, and he showed that as a standout for Ateneo. But the levels of the UAAP and the PFL are a little bit different. And I think you need to be playing more often in your natural habitat, and I think he's occupying that right now at the tip of the spear.
Another hit as you see Frank Isaac Hano down. Mendiola's players really getting shaken up here in just the first 5 minutes of the second half as the rain continues to pour here in Manila.
Sort of coming together with Abu C, it looks like here. Oh no, he's already pulled up at that point. Collision with Kamis. Baka naapakan.
But off camera, if there is something good to hear or see, Gustavo was able to walk on his own. As it's inside now, Godoy Zoda, will he connect? Easily secured though by Etheridge.
You know, I think before the season's through, that mouthful of a name, that Kudoy Soda, is going to become, you know, something that rolls off the tongue of many Filipino football fans, and that's going to be a testament to the quality that he brings. He's going to be, you know, a player to remember this season if he keeps going down this path. He's been very impressive today.
Paulos gets beaten by Amir Aningalan, who wins it back here. You love the work rate. A bit back and forth between the two. Ooh. That was a nutmeg, right?
And you can smile about that.
Going back with Fatih Kudoy Soda, I did practice that, I will say. And just when I clarified with team manager Hannah Wong, as there's a cross whipped in by Tong, Hannah said, call him Fatih, as she said.
But you like a challenge, don't you, Claro? So you went ahead and practiced anyway.
Of course, with us mastering these names of these players, given that's what they bring with them here, other than the front of the jersey. We also have to pay attention to the back. As Fatih will switch it now to Liao. Abu C trying to split the defense, taking it low. Had Riley or had Jackson Riley Etheridge guessing there for a bit or having to react.
It's been quick fire substitutions here for Jay-Sean Soberano.
We have to remember, you get 3 opportunities again for subs. But they're just using them bit by bit, as you see. Doc Joe and the Cebu FC family catching the action intently. No smiles, despite of them leading 4-0.
Mendiola. Player number 77, John Amos Gomez, replaced by player number 39, Victor Fayol.
If there's something bright about Fayol being put in, he has 2 goals in this season.
It's actually quite a surprise, Claro, that he wasn't included in the starting 11. Ooh!
So save was forced now by Paulos. Because you're already without Balot Doctora, your main scorer. What more? Have your second man has that main option.
Oh!
Paulos couldn't make it 5-0 as the flag is raised.
But he had missed the target anyway. That's from Paulos. Dito mo nakikita yung pagkabata niya, no? At 20 years of age, he still has a lot of room to grow. But he gets himself in so many dangerous positions on the pitch. If there's something for him to improve, it's his conversion rate. Because he's certainly capable of putting that ball in the back of the net, particularly when he has chances like that.
Estrom Paulos, the Aussie, as we mentioned, has experience from Germany, just to add to, of course, his stints at home. Well, Paulos has been able to give them some important goals on the international level. And the thing here with Cebu is they've had some tough luck, we could say, even some breaks of the game go their way. And that's all part of it, as we know. They've gotten some goals saved by VAR when they were playing on the international level.
They're not needing any luck right now.
Definitely not the case, as they are playing it to Leo Makiling. Came off of the defender in Fofana. He is more of a midfielder again, as we mentioned.
And this is what I like about Cebu. They're not tied to one particular style of play. They went long, direct to Leo Makiling there. They're not opposed to playing in different manners, as long as it's effective, right? I mean, I think many other teams could take a page out of that book and really consider or reconsider the way they approach a match, and to think about, you know, how effective can you be rather than just sticking to a style of play.
Being flexible and versatile. It was poked. Renya. Paulos wins it there in a dangerous area and makes the brave men pay.
You can't be making errant passes like that inside your own box. You're passing it to a teammate who's got a man right on his shoulder, and you're gonna be made to pay. But it is a good finish from Paulos. But look at that. You're letting the ball run across your body without looking over your shoulder inside your own box. You're gonna deserve what you get there, and Esram Paulos made him pay.
Just like the last game of Cebu, 5 goals, 5 different goal scorers.
You give that as an assist to the opposition player?
Technically, yes. We can put it that way. Pero sa mga statistics natin, wala, as we know. But that's gotta hurt though, right? If you assist the goal of an opponent. But the Gentle Giants still want more. Paulos will take it. He won't make it though.
Again, he's so slippery, Esram Paulos. It's not like he's super fast, but he always seems to be able to get the ball just away from the challenge. Allows him to create that room to pull the trigger.
Very shifty there, and he'll just get you on the wrong foot. But earlier, he just won that, of course, with his ball sense. Knew where to be to make the defense pay. We'll also be updating our live standings as we carry along here. Valenzuela PB will need a miracle of biblical proportions to get back here. Fati got a touch, but just secured by Etheridge.
Grabe yung turnaround ng Dynamic Herb Cebu in this first round alone. They were showing signs that maaring hindi sila makapasok sa top 6 because of the level of performance that they were hitting. Then all of a sudden, they're at the top of the league. Impressive.
If they make this one stick, they will improve to 22 points. But they will have, or their opponents right below will have matches on hand. But they are essentially safe. And if you apply these matches on hand, Cebu will roughly be inside the top 4, which is where you want to be. And it will be a corner here for Valenzuela PB Mendiola. A rare attacking opportunity, but we've seen some of these free kicks here and there earlier, but now it is a corner kick.
Villanueva took a risk going for the sliding tackle inside the box, but he got the timing just right.
We're about to hit the 1 hour mark already at the Rizal Memorial Stadium. It's our second game of this day. Earlier, Manila Digger did get 8 goals past Philippine Army. Sekou Cisse got to bag half of those goals there.
That's going to be a big one. And bad news for the rest of the league, because Manila Digger have been getting results despite Sekou Cisse being quiet for them up front, where he's not been the main man scoring all the goals. Now, he's going to be up and running and in his groove moving forward. Siguro masaya na lang yung mga opposition teams ng Manila Digger na medyo mahaba-haba yung break natin bago mag-simula ulit in January.
The diagonal ball was played by Amir Aningalan. but that was eventually to Novela as the header was offline. Because what we've noticed also on days where Sekou Cisse wouldn't be able to just fire up that engine in him, Babukar Ture would come up big on goal scoring.
Iba rin ang level na hinihit ngayon ng Manila Digger after that win against Kaya FC Iloilo. Kumbaga, undeniable na ang kalidad nila as a title contender this season.
As they hit it to Fati, some space to operate. Taking on Antecona. He's shifted to the right back position. Fati's shot is saved at the near post.
That's up against two there, Claro. He's been able still to shift it onto his left foot and test the keeper and win a corner kick.
But it's wave after wave here. The Gentle Giants putting the pressure on the brave men.
Great hit, and now his corner kick is in the back of the net. Abu C gets in on the scoring. No stranger to scoring goals in the PFL.
Been there, done that. Now he has the captain's armband with the subs that they made here and there. Now it's 6 different goal scorers to go with 6 goals. And we were saying this again because last game, the Gentle Giants went 5 goal scorers. Now, would you say, Jing, now on days where Rico and Des would fizzle out? But that's not really the reason why they subbed him off today. But you know, the different options here and there can deliver.
And that's the thing. Glenn Ramos has created an atmosphere where everybody feels involved, where everybody can contribute and is expected to contribute regardless of when you're placed into a game. And nararamdaman mo na hungry lahat na ipakita kung anong kapasidad nila, no? And Abu C, you know, he's been getting a lot more responsibility as a leader, as a mainstay and foundation of this squad. And he's doing it from a withdrawn position, but as you can see from set pieces, he's still a threat. I believe he's one of the top scorers in the history of this league, Abu C, amongst those with the most appearances as well in the Philippines Football League. So actually, isa sa mga veterans talaga dito yan sa liga natin.
That speaks about his quality also, if you're able to stay in the league for a long time, because some players may be able to come and go. They'll get displaced by other guys here and there. Abu C, one of them, of course, a foreign player you expect to see in the PFL year in, year out. He had a very long stint with Stallion Laguna. He did move to Cebu.
Through Kaya first?
Also there, exactly. In demand, of course, for a good reason. Paulos will try to add number 7. Leo Makiling, did he lose his angle? Trying to lob it to Paulos. Somehow it got to him. Sent to the side by Renya. It will be a corner as opposed to a... Or it will be a throw-in rather, as opposed to a corner. And that stop was made from deep. But another set of subs being made. Sam Azim Zade will enter, as is the case with Eric Orale. Jacob Liaro's shift will end after about an hour. Solid from him right here.
Jacob Liao replaced by number 12. Eric Orale, another substitution for Cebu FC. Player number 7 is coming out to see, replaced by player number 3, Sam Azim Zade Tabrizi.
Solid shift from Abu C. He's earned his rest, as you expect he's going to be involved on Wednesday. Ooh!
A shot from distance was just tipped over the bar by Etheridge.
How did he generate so much power from that distance? Esrom Paulus, impressive attempt.
We'll take a look at that one. Taken with his left. Forced the keeper to put in the work.
You must say, a great stop as well from the goalkeeper, Jackson Riley Etheridge. Read that well.
But it'll be Paulos going for the back post.
Oh, you'd expect him to do better. Free header for Bolchol Boltong.
But with that, it's a chance now. Reggie Sulit getting it forward. Couldn't connect. Giles in Cabo will send it to Jaridi. And I actually wonder how exactly did the Gentle Giants just turn around their season, unless nagbabanding sila also in their facility where they have a coffee shop and even their own gym where they have their therapists all in-house, everything there for them.
Well, that is a good question. It's something that we hope to be able to unlock from Coach Glenn Ramos, and what he felt was the key moment for them to turn the corner, because they did look a little bit out of sorts to begin with.
Which is what we do not expect.
Because they were a team that had already had a few games under the belt before the season started.
That's right.
They had gotten off to a good start in the Shopee Cup preliminaries, and you know, they looked impressive there. So an expectation they were going to hit the ground running when the season started at the PFL, and it wasn't the case, no? But again, ito nakikita natin, there's been a new synergy within the squad that has allowed them to be so impressive in the recent matches that they've been a part of. Today, ang carry over niya, no, nakikita talaga natin. It's easy on the eyes, the way they play. At the same time, extremely efficient and effective.
A throw in there from Villanueva to the left. Makiling shifted over now. Numbers do not favor Cebu. They play it back to Ball. Tong. Zimzade. The Canadian-Iranian is flagged offside.
So disappointing. You're trying to make your first impression here since coming on as a substitute. They played it out to the wing. You're looking right down the line. To be fair, he's not offside. It's a tight one. But it looked like he was on.
Zimzade, after all, with 2 assists to his name in this season so far. Jaridi has to deal with some pressure. Not the usual token runs being made. Just momentum on the side of Cebu FC.
Valenzuela PB Mendiola causing a bit of discomfort for Cebu, to be fair to them. Haven't given up here. They haven't slumped their shoulders. They're putting in an effort to try to get at least something out of the game.
Just to point out also that goal earlier, or that most recent goal secured by the Gentle Giants, is their 30th of the season. They've conceded 7, so they have a goal difference of plus 23. Paulos just tried to send it past Etheridge. Corner kick.
And this is a point of frustration for Esram Paulos. It's because he's so good, right? You wouldn't be frustrated or disappointed by his decision making if he wasn't so good. But he's got into a great position there. Fati's right on the goal line, ready to tap it in. Leo Makiling is inside that 6-yard box. Square it. Give your teammate a tap in. Instead, he's gone for goal on that occasion.
There's a brave man who is down.
Love to see that one again from Esram Paulos, because he was in a fantastic position to add a 7th for Cebu.
While we're at it, perhaps in quad vision replay. Taken short to Azimzade. Paulos, left-footed cross.
Oh, 2 players there at the back post. Sayang.
How often do you have that? Sending across, 2 are going to jump for it, not just 1.
And ang problema dun para sa Valenzuela PB Mendiola, there was nobody there to get ahead to it. Completely unmarked.
Some subs waiting in the wings for Coach Jason Soberano. With 20 minutes remaining. It's just the final score now that needs to be set. Also, of course, importantly for the Gentle Giants, they want the elusive clean sheet. There you go. Play will be stopped for a bit because of our subs. See, Barbosa and Turner are about to enter. Time continues to tick now. 20 minutes and change remaining. Johan Fofana will step off. The midfielder again played in defense today. Anticona rather, will also head off the pitch.
Mendiola, player number 6, Ezek Anticona, replaced by player number 18, Paulo Ricardo Oliveira Barbosa. Another substitution for Valenzuela, PP Mendiola.
It's got to be tough, Jing, if you're being subbed off with a scoreline like this, or you're being checked into the game to play 20 minutes in a game where the result is already set.
Whoa! Paulo's got close once again. He's racking up the attempts, that's for sure. Back to your comment there. For those on the pitch, you could say it's a bit of a relief. The punishment is over. You get to sit down and take a breather. Coming into this type of contest, yes, not ideal, but again, it's an opportunity. You get 18 minutes and change. You go out there and you impress. You could change the trajectory of your season. And there are other teams always looking to refresh their lineups, and they're always looking for talent. So, you know, no minute goes to waste at the top flight of Philippine football.
After all, it's about getting these competitive matches also, as we know. As this ball goes into the goalkeeper area of Jaridi, no problem there. Volley taken quickly to play Fati.
It's a great spot, great find.
Thanks to that, they will continue on now. It's Makiling to the aid also of Kudoy Dodsora. Trying to get it to Azim Zade. Stopped by the defense.
Aningalan has been one of the bright spots for Valenzuela PB Mendiola. Again, he's tracked the cross well. He's had a bit of confidence there at the back. Despite how things have been going, he's been taking care of the ball, and he's been solid with his defensive duties.
But with every loss right here for Valenzuela PB Mendiola, and we keep saying they're going to learn from this or they're going to bounce back given the learnings, but they're on the verge of getting their 7th consecutive defeat. Now, how much longer do you say that, of course, because we still haven't seen that bounce back performance.
And this one certainly won't fill them with too much confidence. They've been on the back foot and dominated essentially from the very beginning of this game. And we talked about it earlier on, Claro. Where do they go from here? What are the adjustments you make? And what can they take from teams that have been able to develop much more quickly than them?
It's with Makiling. Slow down for a bit. Oh, almost got to find Kudoy Dodsora over at the back post.
Intention was there. I think it was the right choice to go for Fati. Just beyond the reach of the Tajikistani.
6 goals put forward again. Right after Rico just opened things in the 2nd minute, things just carried on with that long list. Pinto got a goal of his own, as is the case with Fati, Liao, and Esrom Paulos. They'll play it through, overhit, but we have a whistle.
This is what I like about John Mike Basinang. He'll let the play run, see if there's anything. He's taking note of the contact there. This is what allows him to control the games well, because players know he's not missing much, right? There's definitely a coming together here. As we see here, Tong goes for the player rather than the ball. And John Mike Basinang spotting that and pulling the play back when necessary.
And we're not just talking about that play alone, because we've seen it a number of times in this game already.
Madaling makawala sana tong larong to because it got a bit feisty, particularly late in that first half, where frustration was starting to set in with the Mendiola players. And, you know, Cebu will never back down from a physical challenge, so it was starting to get a bit chippy, and a couple yellow cards, a few conversations with the players, and he's taken the temperature down to a manageable degree.
And we also mentioned again, right, the Gentle Giants are a bit undermanned. They do not have their U23 national team players because we have the upcoming Southeast Asian Games. No Noah Liddell, Jaime Rosquillo, Kalja Mirul. But the two aforementioned there are actually here in the stands, catching the action. Kudoy Dodzora over now to Paulos, perhaps overhit.
It's a tight squad Cebu have. And being as they are the only team right now that travels back and forth to their home ground, it helps. You know, it's not easy, of course. It's tiring and it's taxing to fly in and out of Manila to play your games. But it forces you guys to be together. And you can tell that this Cebu side are a tight-knit group. You can see that off the pitch, but you see it on the pitch as well in their appetite to fight for one another.
And as we know, being a tight-knit group, that helps you with team chemistry. It translates onto the pitch. You and the teammates just having that understanding of one another. That's why it's also no surprise when you see close friends playing together and connecting. There's just that instant connection or the next level. And what more, of course, if you see brothers playing together.
You do get a sense of family within this side, and you know, we've had the opportunity to speak with the coaches as well after these matches, and you can tell, you know, Glenn Ramos has also got a great relationship with these players. They all want to do well for him, and that's a big thing. He can get that little bit extra from his players.
And just to recap again, we have 6 goals and 6 different goal scorers, and Ramos led the way with 2 assists of his own, all in the first half.
To be fair to Fatih, he's got 2 as well. He could add a third here.
But with the goal scorers, we've got Rico and Des, Anderson Pinto. Fatih would like to add another one because he is their 3rd goal scorer of the day. Could he keep it in? Yes. But possession went the way now of Mendiola. But it's things like these, of course, that really frustrate them. They have a chance to get forward. Overhit to Fayol, could not reach it.
And who was that? Who stopped Kudoy Dodsora in that moment?
Aningalan.
That's right.
Mentioned also earlier.
He's been the bright spot for them. Yes.
As Leo Makiling secures the 3rd assist of Fatih.
Just a thing of beauty. The delivery was fantastic, but Leo Makiling, that is a striker's header. He's put that away very well.
Take a look at this goal with our quad vision replay. And with that, Leo Makiling becomes the 7th goal scorer tonight for Coach TGR. He joins Rico Andes, Anderson Pinto, Fatih Kudoy Dodzora, Jacob Liao, Ezra Paulos, and Abu C.
Wasn't able to find the back of the net in his recent outing, Leo Makiling, but he deserves this one. Scoring with 10 minutes to go, in the perfect spot where he needed to be. Has almost turned provider on several occasions in this appearance of his in the second half. But that is a great finish from him, and a goal and 3 assists for Kudoy Dodzora. Impressive on his return in the starting 11.
And that is Leo Makiling's 3rd goal of the season. If you're Cebu, this is how you want to end your domestic season. but flip it over for Valenzuela PB Mendiola. A nightmare of an ending before the Southeast Asian Games and Christmas break.
Yellow card. Off the ball incident. Looked like for Sam Azimzadeh.
Ten minutes remaining here. The Gentle Giants in white now chasing that clean sheet. But Valenzuela PB again did get to score in that last game of theirs, a 7-1 loss versus Aguilas. And we keep saying there's games where they'd fall, they'd score. But for how much longer can you bank on these small victories here and there?
Drastic change is needed. I think that is the message for the two struggling sides right now in the league. Philippine Army, Valenzuela PB Mendiola. You can't keep going down this path and think that things are going to change. You need to build something new now. I think when you look at the sides of Aguilas, Maharlika, Manila Digger, those are some frameworks to take inspiration from. Nakikita natin kung paano sila mag-build ng squad. No? Inuuna talaga nila yung spine ng team. Your center backs, your central midfielders, and your forward. You try to create a solid foundation right down the middle of your squad and then add quality pieces around that. Also, your goalkeeper is important, of course. And that's just a cheap giveaway once again.
Fatih sending it. Makiling stops it. Unselfish there. 8 goals up for Cebu FC. Could you say Ramos is relieved because he has a goal to add with his assist?
100%. He's been the only one who's been kept out of the scoring party, and he's got Leo Makiling to thank for that one. It's a great finish too from Ramos. He wants to keep in step here with Fatih for the battle for player of the game, as now he is a goal scorer along with his 2 assists.
Unselfish from Leo Makiling. When you have a player like him who makes a play like that, that speaks volumes of the chemistry of Cebu, which we were talking about actually earlier in this game.
Definitely. At the end of the day, it's a goal for the team, regardless of who puts it in the back of the net. And Makiling showcasing it, whether it's him or Ramos, it's all the same. He was the better option in that moment. And Ramos made sure to reward him with a great finish.
Well, Leo Makiling could not get that as he traveled past the mouth of the goal, but he did give the thumbs up to Fatih for that effort. But now, Cebu just equaling the goal-scoring tally of Manila Digger earlier in that 8-0 win of theirs versus Philippine Army.
They weren't able to get as many goals as they would have liked against Philippine Army in their last outing, itong Cebu. And I think they're making up for it here with just a real consistent display of consistently threatening Valenzuela PB Mendiola's goal.
Azimzadeh will cross again.
Ooh.
But Fatih could not get it. Maybe a bit too high for him there. Or that ball was too high. We can't say.
Difficult to tell from our angle. It's definitely in a dangerous area as it flashes across goal. But Fatih, spectacular in this game. Involved as well, even in that goal for Glenn Ramos. He's the one who brought it into the danger zone with his ball into the box. And I would say he might have played his way into that game against Selangor in a couple of days' time. Certainly needs to be in the picture given how dangerous he is every time he has the ball.
Here's that tough foul from behind. That is why Valenzuela PB will get a rare chance now to create a scoring opportunity.
Get the feel for Isaac Ano, you know. He's been putting in a lot of effort, hasn't got a lot of reward.
This was headed by Ano and no good. There's really just those days sometimes where you cannot turn your performance into a result, and individually, that's how things have gone for Ano. And Jaridi will resume this from the back. We also have the ongoing FIFA Futsal Women's World Cup again over at the Phil Sports Arena in Pasig City. Head to FIFA.com/tickets for more details. And Sports Tribe is the official match ball of the Philippines Football League. The thing here in the standings is you have Tuloy, DB Garelli, and Valenzuela PB at 8, 9, and 10. All with 3 points each. And they are separated by goal difference. Tuloy at -23, Garelli at -26, Valenzuela PB at -49. They've conceded 54 goals and have only forwarded 5. But we're not taking credit away from Tuloy again, as their team is set up in a different way as a developmental squad. But you just expect better here. The Army at the bottom, unfortunately, no points yet in 8 games.
You look at Tuloy, they're a team, I believe, with a maximum age of 22, 21.
Approximately, essentially students who are in the age of college students.
You know, homegrown players who have to essentially come from the Tuloy Foundation in order to be, you know, eligible to play for them. So, you know, their pool is actually quite restricted. It's an offside flag for Isaac Ano. So, in terms of advantages, they certainly don't have them in terms of recruitment, but they've been able to develop very good players who are capable of operating within a system that they have, you know, really been drilled with. So Tuloy, I think, in that department, that's a win for them, that they are amongst men and already performing at this level. But for the other teams, you know, who have the benefit of foreign recruits, it's not panning out for them the way that they would like. That means they need to choose better, create systems that are better and more effective, or else, you know, they need to get back to the drawing board and start again.
There's something the community did point out online. When these Tuloy boys get into their prime, good luck if you're going to face them. And even now, because I mentioned they're essentially the age of college students, approximately the freshman, sophomore age, they did have that Tuloy Invitational. And they did beat college teams.
Right. It's a testament to the work that Taketomo Suzuki has done over there, along with his coaches, that they've essentially, you know, been able to utilize raw materials, completely raw, and turn them into something that is capable of competing at a very high level.
It's a good story, of course, with how these boys are also able to get a future in football, and what Tuloy has been doing, of course, a foundation very well established here in the Philippines. That's why they've become fan favorites here in the Philippines Football League. But going back, the Gentle Giants are going to move up to first now in the table with 22 points. They get to push that tempo now. The teams below them have matches on hand and can leapfrog them. But after that slow start, if you're Coach TGR or even Mr. Tassi, you love how you've been getting maximum points as of late.
Oh, it's off the crossbar.
Fatih appeared to trip on his own there. You just see how he's trying to scramble for it. Inches away from goal number 9. That would have been the highest scoring output on this Saturday. Villanueva, he has the license to get forward now. There you go. 3 final minutes confirmed by our 4th official, Aldos Merafuentes. Ramos also so much confidence. Brian Villanueva, let it go to Azim Zare. He'll cross it in. Just dealt it by the defense, but cleared inside the goalkeeper area. Villanueva, essentially he's become like that central midfielder for them. As Imzadik given the space to cross. He'll send it. Collected by Etheridge.
Cebu need to be careful here. They're 3-3 at the back. No need to take any unnecessary risks. They just need to get back into position here. To concede at this point would be a real disappointment.
It's these clean sheets again. They'll put the cherry on top of any win. As you see Felicia down. A shot taken and they force the save from Etheridge once more. Fatih also shaken up. As is the case with Victor Felicia. You could put this result in the books again, as we mentioned. A confidence booster for Cebu, you will say, heading into that next game.
Certainly ideal. You know, no injuries. Get the confidence high. And make sure the momentum is running ahead of that match against Selangor in the Shopee Cup. It could have been 9 very easily.
Not just because of this save, but because they did hit the crossbar earlier. And that ball went down to the ground, but did not pass the goal line, of course.
Villanueva with a good hit. Had the option to slide Fateh through, but not a bad attempt.
Corner now from Paulos. Is it another goal?
Oh, he's so close there, Brian Villanueva. Inches wide of the post.
Big boy Brian wants his goal here for the road. We've already wrapped up the domestic season.
Left back, sasali ako.
That's why I was assuming license to move forward.
You hope he's been given license, or else it's going to be an awkward conversation with Coach Glenn Ramos after the final whistle.
I would not like to be in the shoes of Brian Villanueva. And I say this as much as Coach DGR just appears to become kahit panalo, kahit talo.
Yes.
Even before some press conferences in their international games, he's a bit light and loose, not nervous. After all, he is like that institution in Cebuano football.
And it's very impressive how he's been able to, you know, make his way onto the top flight of Philippine football, and he hasn't looked out of place at all.
There were doubts again when Cebu did get that tough start. They did just translate their performances into results. They leveled up when they had to the most. That is why they are going to extend their unbeaten run in local play to 6 games. One of those games, a 1-1 draw with Manila Digger. Some of the teams that they faced in this streak of theirs are Mahardika and Aguilas. So they've been on the upward trajectory right after falling to Kaya 3-0. As Makiling will give us another one. Now 9-0.
A brace for Leo Makiling after a lovely header in the 80th minute. Look at this for a finish. Just curled into the top corner. Fantastic from the substitute. And that's 9 goals for dynamic Herb Cebu. It was already an impressive performance, but why not add an exclamation?
And effectively, Leo Makiling is the top scorer in this game with 2. Hey, that broke the trend right here, earlier. The number of goal scorers, same as the number of goals. But now, 9 goals for Cebu, 8 different goal scorers. Leo Makiling leading the way with a brace, and Fatih and Ramos with 2 assists each also. We're not letting that fly under the radar with the way they got to influence this game. And there is the full-time whistle from a referee, John Mike Basina. The Gentle Giants ascend to the top of the table now. Did you expect to see Cebu up there already after that struggle we were highlighting early in the season?
I think it's come as a surprise for many, just how quickly they turned things around. It was an expectation that there might be some time for the course correction to take shape, but they've gotten back, pointed in the right direction, and they've just hit the gas and haven't looked back. Fair play to Dynamic Herb Cebu FC. Impressive in the big games, in the games that have mattered, and against the teams that they're expected to beat. They have put on an impressive display as well. 9-0. What a way to sign off in this first round.
Valenzuela PB Mendiola just left to defend for pretty much most of the game. They had some chances, definitely couldn't get the ball into these dangerous areas or even bombard Rami Jaridi. Unselfish play there from Leo Makiling again. But now Cebu, one of the hottest teams to end the domestic season right before the Christmas and holiday break. That's how you want to end it, of course, with a bang right before taking that break. 9-0. Leo Makiling led the way with a brace. As we've said, with other goal scorers, of course, there's Ramos, Sabusi, Estron Paulos, Jacob Liao, Pati Kodoy Dodsora, Anderson Pinto, Enrico Andes, who started it all. And this was Clara Manzano alongside Jing Hamlang. We'll sign off before we take it now to our interview down on the ground. It ends 9 for Cebu and 0 for Valenzuela PB.
Congrats on the win. What were your thoughts on today's match?
Of course, we're preparing for Selangor, so I think this is a good step for us, like a good start for us to see what we can do against Selangor, and I think the team did pretty well. So I think it's all about the mindset of always getting better during training and in the game.
What was the message from Coach Glenn today?
Coach Glenn said, don't think about the score, just think about the 3 points. And I think the boys did it, and most of all, we enjoyed a beautiful game.
Lastly, message to the Cebu fans.
Sa mga Cebuano dira, thank you for supporting us, and please continue to do so as we have a game next Wednesday against Selangor. Tara Cebu. Thank you.